Since you started your notary business, strive for excellence. Introducing the book, Notary Operational Excellence by Derek Spruill. Build your business on a beacon of precision and trust with expert advice. Check out Notary Operational Excellence by Derek Spruill from Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Books of Million, Bookshop.org, Mobile Notary by DerekSpruill.com, or download from Kindle today.
Welcome to Notary Knowledge.
It is so fantastic to be here for this one today.
Oh, absolutely. But before we jump into today's topic, I want to enthusiastically encourage you, yes, you listening right now, to check out our video podcasts.
Yeah, you really should.
You can catch No Notary with Eddie Montes Travis and Marylyn's 90 Seconds of Notary on our usual platforms. They're just great visual companions to the audio discussions we have here.
They really are, yeah.
Also, quick reminder to support the show, make sure to buy the Notary Knowledge books by Derek Spruill.
Essential reading, honestly.
Absolutely essential. Visit the Notary Knowledge website for all your resources. And please rate, subscribe, and share the show with anyone who could benefit from a little more knowledge.
Yeah, every share helps us reach more people. So thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who has been doing that. So today's topic is Foundational Fridays, Notary Journals 101.
A really crucial topic.
It is. And we're framing this entirely from a novice, entry-level perspective. Right, keeping it accessible.
Exactly. If you've been following along, you know that in our prior episodes, we covered basic notary tools, things like your official stamp and the embosser.
The physical gear.
Right, the gear. But today, it is all about mastering the record book.
The big one.
Yeah, because, I like to think of it like this. Imagine you're walking down a jet bridge, rolling your suitcase onto a massive airliner.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You find your seat, you stow your bag. During that entire process, you never once think about the black box.
Right, nobody does.
It just sits there, hidden in the tail of the plane, silently recording every altitude change, every mechanical shift. It's totally invisible.
Until something goes wrong.
Exactly. If the flight lands smoothly, nobody cares. But if there's a disputed incident, that black box suddenly becomes the single most important object on Earth.
That is a phenomenal way to look at it, honestly. Because the flight data recorder, it's built to withstand extreme heat and pressure so it can tell the objective truth when human memories fail.
Which brings us right to the journal. Because if you're a notary public, your journal is your flight data recorder.
It really is. It's an impartial chronological record.
It provides this non-repudiable audit trail if a transaction is ever disputed or, if it crashes.
Right, and non-repudiable is the key word there. I mean, it basically means undeniable.
Undeniable, yeah.
The journal isn't just some diary of who you met today. It is a defensive shield.
A shield, I like that.
Yeah, and because it serves as credible evidence in a court of law, there are incredibly strict physical requirements for paper journals.
Like what?
Well, you're essentially creating a forensic document from scratch every time you pick up a pen.
Yeah.
So the book itself must be permanently bound. Like, high-quality ones are often Smith-sewn.
Okay, let me stop you right there, because for our novices, Smith-sewn sounds like some medieval tailoring term.
It totally does, yeah.
What does that actually mean for the physical book?
It's just a specific type of book binding. The individual pages are folded into sections, and those sections are literally physically stitched together with thread and then glued into the spine.
Oh, wow. So it's heavily reinforced.
Right. It ensures durability. But more importantly, it makes the book physically tamper evident.
Right.
And the pages inside have to be sequentially numbered by the manufacturer.
See, I can hear a new notary listening to this and thinking, well, this sounds expensive and way overly complicated.
Oh, definitely.
Like, why can't I just fire up my laptop, make a digital spreadsheet, and password protect it? Or better yet, just go to the drugstore, spend $2 on a cheap spiral notebook.
Right. It's a completely logical question for a beginner, but the answer comes right back to that concept of forensic integrity.
Because of tampering.
Exactly. Spreadsheets and loose-leaf binders, they're legally deficient in many jurisdictions because they're just too easy to tamper with.
Because you can just hit delete on a spreadsheet?
Yeah. You highlight a row, delete it, alter a timestamp, save the file. There is zero physical trace that the row was ever there.
And a spiral notebook is just wire looped through holes. You could just unbend the wire, yank out a page that proves you made a mistake, and bend it back.
Precisely. Or insert a fake page after the fact. But a Smith-sewn bound book proves nothing was removed.
Because the threads would break.
Right. If you tear a page out, the binding warps. It becomes immediately obvious to a judge or an auditor that it was tampered with. The binding itself protects you from accusations of negligence.
So the physical book acts as its own security guard.
It does.
But the security doesn't stop at the binding, right? The law is incredibly particular about the core fields, like the actual data in the entry.
Oh, yeah. Thoroughness is your absolute best friend here. Every entry has to capture the exact date and time of the notarial act.
Meaning the actual time it happened.
Right, as it is happening.
So if I know I have an appointment tomorrow at 2 p.m., I can't just pre-fill my journal tonight while watching TV.
Absolutely not. No future placeholders.
Why not, though? It saves time.
Because if a state official inspects your book and sees a future date written in ink, it instantly looks like fraud. You're certifying an event occurred before the person even walked into the room.
Oh, that makes total sense. You're documenting reality, not scheduling it. What else goes in?
You have to record the specific notarial act type. And for our novices, the two most common are an acknowledgement and a jurat.
Right. Two very different things.
Exactly. An acknowledgement just means they proved their identity and signed willingly. A jurat means you actually administered an oath and they swore under penalty of perjury.
So one is, hey, I signed this, and the other is, I swear this is the truth.
Exactly. And you cannot use ambiguous abbreviations like AC or JUR.
You have to write the whole word out.
You have to. Because if you're in a lawsuit 5 years later, a hostile attorney will point to your journal and say, you wrote ACK. Does that mean acknowledged? Or action? Acquired.
Wow, leaving the door wide open for reasonable doubt.
Right. Next, you have to record the detailed document character.
So if I'm doing a massive real estate closing, I can't just write loan docs.
No, loan docs is a massive liability. The court doesn't care about a generic package. They care about the specific document. So you write deed of trust or power of attorney. Plus, you need their demographics and the fee charged.
Even if I'm doing a favor for a friend for free, I still fill out the fee column.
Yes. By writing $0, you prove you intentionally waived it, rather than just forgetting to write down an illegal overcharge.
That is fascinating. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're getting into some wild, state-specific quirks. Stick around. Commercial break.
Welcome back to Notary Knowledge. We've established the physical anatomy of the book, but now we have to talk about geography, because the laws change wildly depending on what state you're in.
It really is a massive patchwork of legislation.
Let's use California as an example. They are notoriously strict. If you're handling real estate deeds there, you are legally required to capture the signer's physical right thumbprint in your journal.
Right, as a biometric anti-fraud measure. But then you cross state lines into Texas or Illinois, and it's a completely different universe.
The philosophical reversal is fascinating. Texas and Illinois strictly prohibit recording ID serial numbers or taking thumbprints.
So if I'm a Texas notary and I decide to just grab a thumbprint to be safe, I'm actually breaking the rules.
You are violating state law. It's a paradox.
Yeah.
California wants maximum security via biometrics to stop property fraud. Texas and Illinois want maximum security to protect private data from identity theft if your journal gets stolen.
It's the classic tension between transaction security and data privacy. But these laws are evolving, which brings us to a massive legislative shift happening in Virginia, Senate Bill 316.
Yes, effective July 1st, 2026. This is a landmark change.
What's changed?
Virginia is implementing strict document-first identification standards. They are entirely eliminating what we call personal knowledge as a valid verification method.
Wait, okay, playing the shocked novice here. Personal knowledge means knowing someone personally, right?
Yes, it does.
So if my neighbor of 20 years walks into my office in Virginia after July 2026, I legally have to ask for their driver's license like they're a total stranger.
That is exactly what the new statute requires.
Yeah.
The convenience of familiarity is completely gone.
That is going to lead to some incredibly awkward conversations. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, I know I was the best man at your wedding, but show me your ID. Why mandate that?
The awkwardness is real, but it's about protection. The law was unanimously recommended by an advisory group to combat real estate deed fraud and protect vulnerable elder populations from financial exploitation.
Ah, so it's not about me and Bob. It's about an 85-year-old grandfather whose quote-unquote friend brings him in to sign away his house.
Exactly. If the notary relies on personal knowledge, there's no physical, non-repudiable proof in the journal of how identity was verified. By forcing everyone to present an ID, it creates an objective standard and protects everyone.
I love that perspective. The awkwardness is the price we pay for an airtight audit trail. We're going to take one more quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk about how you actually execute all this at the table without panicking. Commercial break. All right, we are back. So for a novice listening right now, all these rigid forensic laws can feel like a mountain of pressure. You're sitting across from a signer, people are tapping their watches, and you have to get every box checked perfectly.
It can be very overwhelming.
How do you practically execute these rules in the field?
That anxiety is exactly why Derek Sproul emphasizes the concept of table confidence in his training series.
Table confidence, owning the room before the room owns you.
Right. It starts before you even sit down. You manage your physical workspace, review the documents before the appointment to spot weird signature lines, you organize your pens, your stamps, and you use a steady voice.
It calms the signers down.
It does, and it allows you to execute a methodical process, like the three-touch ID verification system.
Let's break down that three-touch system.
Okay, so the first touch happens when you initially receive the ID. You review the hard data while the paperwork is being prepped.
Checking expiration dates, state seals.
Right. The second touch happens organically during conversation. You hold the ID, glance at the photo, compare it to the person while casually asking about their day.
Because when they chat, their guard drops.
Exactly. And the third touch is the final verification during the actual journal signing. You ensure the physical signature they're putting in your Smithsonian book matches the credential.
But we're human, right? Mistakes happen. The pen slips. How do you handle a mistake in the journal?
This is critical. Never use whiteout.
Because if a judge sees a glob of whiteout, they instantly think falsified records.
It completely destroys credibility. The forensic standard is transparency. You draw a single, clean line through the error, so it's still legible. Print the correction and initial it with the current date.
Wait, the current date. What if I find a mistake from 3 weeks ago? Shouldn't I date the correction to match the original signing date?
Never backdate a correction, ever. You line it out, correct it, initial it, and write today's date. Backdating is a form of lying on a forensic document.
Transparency is your shield. I like that. What about when a signer outright refuses to hand over their ID or seems heavily medicated?
You have a duty to refuse service. But you don't just pack up and leave. You must document that refusal in your journal.
Wait, really? Even if no notarization happened?
Absolutely. You capture the time, their name, the document type, and the specific reason for refusal. Then write the word refused clearly across the signature line.
Creating a defensive record.
Yes, to defend against discrimination claims later.
Wow. All right, this brings us to our favorite segment of the show. Good question. What would you do?
This is where theory hits the pavement.
These are drawn from the NNA Bulletin Archive, so these are real scenarios. Scenario 1. You are a notary in California. An aggressive repeat customer insists on using a purple ink pen and his own personal red ink pad for his thumbprint.
Oh, goodness.
Furthermore, he refuses to let you view the document to see if the thumbprint is even required. He covers it with his hand and calls you a fraud and a traitor when you hesitate. What would you do?
The verdict here is remarkably clear-cut. It is absolutely appropriate to refuse this notarization.
Despite the yelling.
Especially because of it. But legally, in California, you are required to enter the specific character of every document.
So if he covers it up, your hands are tied.
Exactly. You cannot satisfy the journal law, so you simply refuse, document his aggressive behavior, and ask him to leave.
I love how the strictness actually empowers you. Okay, scenario 2. A notary quits their job. The former employer demands to keep the notary journal, arguing the company paid her the journal and the commission. What would you do?
This is a dangerous misconception. The journal is the exclusive property of the notary. The employer cannot legally retain it.
Even if they paid for it.
Doesn't matter. You are a public official. Plus, under federal GLBA privacy laws, you cannot allow the employer to browse non-customer records containing private personal information.
So taking it is basically a legal requirement.
It is actually illegal for you to hand it over.
That is so empowering to know. All right, we have covered so much ground today, but as we wrap up, I want to look forward. Where is all of this going?
Well, I want to leave everyone with a fascinating look at the future of journals. Emerging blockchain technologies like NEM's Apostille module are creating digital audit trails.
Okay, how does a crypto concept apply to a journal?
By hashing a file and signing it with a cryptographic private key, any post-execution tampering instantly fails the audit check.
Mathematical, irrefutable proof.
Exactly. It makes you wonder if these hashes will eventually replace the physical notary book entirely.
Will the next generation even know what Smithsonian means? It's definitely something to mull over. Well, if you have questions about everything we've covered today, email your questions to Derek at dereksproul.com. We will try to answer as soon as possible at the end of our shows.
We always love hearing from you.
Now for our mandatory credits. Executive producer Derek Sproul, lead writer Marylyn Lee Trotter, graphics Eddie Montes Travis, music Thomas Bynum, produced by Magnificent Works Business Solutions. Don't just be listeners of the knowledge, be doers of the knowledge. This is Notary Knowledge. Until next time.
Are you an aspiring notary looking to join millions of other notaries? Start your journey with the Notary Public Foundation by Derek Sproul. This essential guide provides the step-by-step process to becoming commissioned in your state. Don't stumble into the role. Walk into it with confidence. Grab your copy of the Notary Public Foundation by Derek Sproul on Amazon today.